Scientists have linked processed foods to diseases like MS and asthma. Dr. Devi is here. Now, that was a very broad brush headline.
That's true.
Processed food enhances or encourages MS and other autoimmune things. What's the link?
Well, we're really looking at salt. So that's the main thing, processed salt. And we have a lot of salt in our foods, and there's always been links to maybe high blood pressure and heart disease. But now what they're looking at is, at least in the lab, if you have salt in a solution, so basically salt mixed in water and it's a lot of salt, then these cells, your immune cells that fight infection normally, they get more aggressive. And as they get more aggressive, they're more likely to attack yourself. So instead of bacteria or viruses, they attack your normal cells. So things like multiple sclerosis, they attack your brain.
Wow, that's an actual scientific study. That's not a statistical study of relationships.
No, they look in a lab.
Here's the science. Here's how it works.
Yeah.
But listen to this. 1 6-inch roasted garlic loaf, just the bread, nothing in it.
Yeah.
1 6 has the salt content of 14 strips of bacon. What? Is that Ruth?
That's true. I mean, the issue is, we have so much salt in our foods, even in bread or things like that, that you don't think of as salty necessarily.
I never think of bread as having salt in it. Never, ever.
Yeah, so you get used to it, so you don't taste it as much anymore. So what you usually notice is when something is not as salty, and then you add more salt. But we actually have more salt in all our foods than in other countries.
Can I just jump in? Bread is the worst offender. And what's happening, I think, here, correct me if I'm wrong, salt is a really cheap preservative. So there's a double whammy here. Food companies are saying, we're going to add a lot of salt as a preservative, but we're going to mask it with sugar. So you have refined salt and refined sugar. And the way out is to have sea salt, I guess.
Oh, well, you're absolutely right. I mean, even in soda that you usually drink when you feel thirsty because you've had a lot of salt, that also has sodium in it. So there's that, too. And weight loss foods, if you take out the fat, and a lot of them take out the sugar, too, then you put in more salt for the flavor. So there's that issue. I mean, but just in defense of salt for a moment.
Yeah, we need
so
it.
Actually, yeah, so, I mean, we're looking at, in the lab, right, the solution, but we don't know if that's actually the same situation as what's in the body, because, our body does a lot to regulate the amount of salt in the blood. So if you had a teaspoon of salt, you would actually probably drink a lot of water right after that, so you would control the concentration.
When I lived in India, very hot climate with absolutely no air conditioning, this was way back when, I had to take salt pills.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, deprivation of salt, and you were tired all the time.
Oh, that's true. I mean, if you don't have enough salt, you actually have another problem. So we see that in marathon runners, for example, where they lose salt in their sweat. Then if they drink too much water without salt, they can die from that. So.
Dr. Devi, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Nice to see you, too.
Interesting scientific study there. That's a good one. Doctor, thanks very much.
Thank you.